Hello again, everyone. We continue our program, Women and the Bible, and we continue discussing Ruth and Naomi, two women together parallel. And we will continue reading from Ruth, chapter 2. Here it says, Naomi had another relative that could be possibly husband for Ruth, but they needed to ask God first if it was God's will or not. So when they came to the Judah, Ruth and Naomi, when they came, it was the time of harvest. There was a custom. God commanded through Moses that when it's a harvest, the owners of the field don't collect all the grain. Leave some grain for poor and needy people, so they come and glean them and take them and they have some food. So Ruth told Naomi, she knew that there is a custom like that. Well, that's good. So she came to Naomi and said, let me go and collect some grains so we have some food. Naomi approved that and she left. A very wise woman. She was looking how she can feed herself and her mother-in-law. She didn't say, no, I came with you. It's your responsibility to feed me and to give me home and everything. No. Ruth took everything on her and she believed that God will bless her when she obeys. I just would like us to pay attention how obedient Ruth is. Obedience, it's a blessing from God. By obedience, you can please God, you can get so much blessings, or if you don't obey, you can bring evil in your life. So Ruth went to fields and she was collecting some grains for them to live. And also when you go, people, owners of the fields, they already know if you are gleaning some of the grains, they already know that you are poor and you are needy. So you need to put your pride aside and be a little bit humble to go and do your best. It's about there is no good or bad job in this life. Every job has a reward. You can earn something, food or money, or even sometimes they were working just to get the food. Don't be afraid of that. Be confident and be committed to your job, and you will see how God blesses. How you please God when you are humble in the heart. You don't say, look, you are honored that I came, I'm poor, and you have to honor me. No. You are the one that needs to honor and respect others, and God will give it back to you. He will say, okay, my daughter, you pleased me, take this and go. Take this blessing, take this earning, take this peace and these blessings and go. And even marry this person, he is from me. And it will be so much happiness for you and joy. And the field that Ruth went, it was God's arrangement that it was field of Boaz. It was the guy that was a relative to Naomi. As I mentioned, that he could be a husband for Ruth. But she cannot go like that right away and say, please marry me. She needs to respect people and she needs to be a little bit humble, which we see she does, and she needs to be obedient. Her mother-in-law first, and mother-in-law directs her step by step what she's supposed to do. If you have someone in your life that is able to direct you, that takes from God, listen to them. Have obedience in your life, in your mind. Be able to obey whatever you are told to do. When it's about God, when it's about how to build relationship. Later we will see how Naomi is teaching her how to build her relationship with this Boaz that will become her husband. God sometimes has a so big and nice future for us, but all depends on our obedience, our humility. Humble yourself and listen to God, obey God, obey God's people. So that's chapter 2, verse 8. So Boaz said to Ruth, my daughter, listen to me. Don't go and glean in another field, and don't go away from here. Stay here with the women who work for me. Watch the field where the men are harvesting, and follow along after the women. I have told the men not to lay a hand on you. And whenever you are thirsty, go and get a drink from the water jars the men have filled. Do you see how God is putting in the heart of Boaz to take care of her? She didn't need to go and say, you know, Boaz, she didn't need to go and cry and weep and say, no, I need your help. I did this. I came with my mother-in-law. We are in a need. She didn't need to say all that. She had the diligence. She had respect for everyone, and first of all for God, for her mother-in-law, and for herself. It is respect when you don't try to change, like to play with the circumstances you have. Don't make feel pity people. Don't make people to feel pity when they see you. Just show respect, and God will talk to their hearts. How Boaz, just he came and he said, I commanded the men not to put hand on you, not to disturb you, not to harm you. It is how God can protect you. Believe me, He is the only protector. Verse 10, at this, she bowed down with her face to the ground. She asked him, why have I found such favor in your eyes that you notice me, a foreigner? She didn't say, oh, thank you, and kissed him and hugged him and say, thank you so much, God bless you, and left. She bowed down. She showed that she respects him so much, she honors him so much, and that she is nothing. She accepted that she is a foreigner. She didn't say it's out of pride or out of being like poor, or she didn't bring her deeds to Boaz and said, yeah, I think you heard that I did so good things to my husband, to my mother-in-law, that I came. She didn't say anything. The opposite, she said, why I found favor in your eyes. When we are humble, we are ready to bow down, God puts favor in people's hearts towards us. Trust God and wait on His time. And she was waiting. She didn't say it's the time. She was waiting patiently. Verse 11, Boaz replied, I have been told all about what you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband, how you left your father and mother and your homeland and came to live with a people you didn't know before. May the Lord repay you for what you have done. May you be richly rewarded by the Lord, the God of Israel. Under those wings you have come to take refuge. Amen. So here he is replying. He thinks others, they told me. She didn't need to go and say, you don't need to go and tell people, I am struggling, I am suffering, please help me. If there is someone that can help, like your pastor or your leader or your husband, someone that knows God, you can go and ask to pray. But to the foreigners, to around people, don't go and start begging like for comfort, for the money, for to be like so you don't feel alone. No, go to God. And God will bring the people, God will bring the right people in your life in His right time. Wait on Him. And she is continuing in verse 13. May I continue to find favor in your eyes, my Lord, she said. You have put me at ease by speaking kindly to your servant, though I do not have the standing of one of your servants. And Boaz said to her, come over here, have some bread and dip it in the wine vinegar. So continuing, it says how Boaz was kind to her. God will bring kind to people to you if you are kind to His people. She was kind to her mother-in-law. She didn't leave her mother-in-law. She came and said, your God will be my God. It means, as end of verse 12, that Boaz says, whose wings you have come to take refuge. When you say your God will be my God, it means you are going to God's refuge. Go to His refuge. Go to His shelter. Go to His ark, to His presence. Find people, as I said, like Naomi, godly people. Choose your friends godly. Choose godly people for your friends, and you will be blessed. They will be kind to you if you are kind to God and to His people. And in the continuing, Boaz is blessing her more. He's telling her, eat and drink and take as much as you can. And he's telling her that not to go anywhere else, as we read. And Ruth is not going. She said, no, God is rewarding me and He wants me to stay here, and I will stay here and continue gleaning. And she stayed humble. Stay humble in your position. Don't go any further unless you are told. And she's going back to Naomi, and Naomi sees all that, and Naomi asks her, how come you brought so much? Where did you go? Whose field did you go? So Ruth is telling everything to Naomi. And also share with godly people. You can share, not by complaining, not by urging or saying like shouting, just sharing. So, because the Bible says two are better than one. With godly people you can share, they will give you better advice than you maybe had in your mind. So Naomi is telling her not to go anywhere else. These two women, they are very godly. Though in the beginning now Naomi leaves her country, she leaves godly things and goes to ungodly. But thank God she recognizes that and she comes back. If you did something wrong, go back. Go back and don't start blaming yourself. God, just continue with God and God will bless you. God will give you so much favor in your life. He will give you, later we see even they are getting a house, they are getting a field, they are getting a son, and even so much blessing that this Ruth, she's becoming grandmother of King David. And we know that Jesus the Messiah comes from lineage of David. God is using Moabite woman for the birth of Jesus Christ the Messiah. Can you imagine that? Can you be that woman? That pleasant for God. God liked this Ruth that much. All because she didn't have pride. She didn't say, no, I am good. No, the opposite, she bowed down. She said to Naomi, your God is my God. She took the refuge of God. So God said, this kind of faith, sometimes it's so hard to find. Be faithful. Have faith in God, even in little things. Ruth never imagined that she would be that much blessed, that she would have that all, and even she would be reason for Jesus Christ to be born. I mean, in the lineage, in the middle, God chose him. If God chose you, please continue with Him and be faithful in small things. In the next episode, we will see what other advice Naomi gives Ruth and how Ruth is faithfully following all the instructions of Naomi. God bless you and see you in the next episode.